So in this video, I want to walk through how project managers work within Monday.com. Monday.com has a great portfolio management for like a PMO office that comes right out of the box, but there's a lot of customizations that make it pretty powerful. And so working with project managers, there's always the question of we have, for instance, one client and we're managing lots of projects. And the key word we need is just visibility. We need to see what everybody's working on. Are we on track or off track? So how do we roll that up to kind of a high level view to see the overall status for our client, which we probably also want to share with the client? But then how do we drill into the granular details of it? So that's a little bit of what I want to show you today. So looking over at this, if you look at like a client portfolio, you can see here, I've already put together a few projects. So imagine your client, you're running, project A, B, C, and D. Maybe that's an API setup, a social media campaign, a delivery of a certain product. But each of these projects can be made high level. And at this high level, you can see things like how's the project health, on track, at risk, off track, what's the overall status is. And you can see when I drill into these, which I'll show you in a moment, I can see those granular details. I can also keep up with things like the stages, the priority, and even their timelines. Now, I can put a planned timeline, like say project A, the planned timeline, begins from say June 15th to June 31st. The actual timeline is showing me what is actually working on those boards. So let's look into that. So with project A, if I click onto it, again, I can see a dashboard of how they're doing. I can see a battery widget here of what the project progress is, maybe some things that says, hey, we're on track today. I can even look directly into this. But what's great about dashboards is they're living. Have you ever been in the presentation where you get the slide deck and it's just pictures, but you want to know more of the detail? Well, you'll notice like on this, like I want to see what is it we're actually working on. When I click on what we're working on, I'm immediately brought up to that exact task and can see exactly where it is, its timeline, and how we're doing against budget. So let's look into like that lower level into the actual projects and how those are going. So if I come out of this client portfolio, all of that is directly connected to this folder I've created of the client project. So here you see project A, you see one working on, the rest is empty. Well, if I go under project A, I'm going to see, we can see right now, here's the one we're working on and all the items that are happening. Now, these projects, you can create them out of the box to look a certain way, but what most clients like is that I create a template that works very specific for their projects. So when you create a new project, I'll show you in a minute, but you just hit create project, it works from that template, and you're off to the races. So here, as you see, like a project A, let's say I change the status, like now we've got something stuck, maybe something's a future step. I can change priorities, task. You see here, I can even give in all the type things like effort and budget. But if I go back up to that high level board in project portfolio, project A, do you see the colors have changed? Now I have one that's stuck and I have this one that's here. So from a high level, I'm keeping track on every single project that's working. Now what's also nice is there's a larger dashboard here that's going to give kind of the big overview of all the projects working for that client. I can see all the tasks that are happening, the budget. I can see how project A is doing against that. Timelines right here. I can see all the stuck projects. I just marked project A stuck. Remember that? Here it is showing up right there. And I can again click in here. It's a living dashboard. I can see directly what's happening on that dashboard. Let me just show you how easy this is. So on client portfolio, I've set this up to say add a project, and I can choose create this new project, give it a name. So just let's make it simple, social media campaign. And then I can either do it a standard, what's out of the box, or like these templates I've created each for my clients, create that template, hit create project, and it literally is this simple. It will create the project on the high level board, client portfolio. As it appears here and is creating now, you're going to see it did something else. It also created the low level board, which you're going to manage all the tasks and the people and timelines and budgets and everything else in. So high level board, here's the social media campaign. Here's the low level board, social media campaign. This is where you can get started. Start assigning, planning out the task, everything it needs to be. And if I look back up here, the great thing is it's added to the overall health of this project all of the dashboards, and it's never off track.